Young people cannot be trusted to form their own opinions. This business about open-mindedness is nonsense. It's a waste of time trying to teach students to think for themselves. It's our job to tell them.
The Situationist International, which began in France in the late 1950s, resisted what they called the Society of the Spectacle. Their idea for the construction of situations takes the form of culture jamming and interventions in public spaces. It is the philosophical basis for work done by the San Francisco Billboard Liberation Front, New York's Surveillance Camera Players, and Boston's Institute for Infinitely Small Things. To Situationist founder Guy Debord, in societies where modern conditions of production prevail, all of life presents itself as an immense accumulation of spectacles. Everything that was directly lived has moved away into a representation.
The Situationist International, a fairly obscure and very, at the same time, popular group of cultural and political revolutionaries active in mostly Western Europe between 57 and 72.
It said that your thinking could be reinvested, and this reinvestment was around the notion, the broad notion, that society was becoming more and more organized around spectacles. And there was the famous book, The Society of the Spectacle, which proposed not that there were fat men in big hats smoking cigars in dark rooms that were plotting to oppress us all.
What I say goes, see?
But that we, in the end, were creating our own prisons.
Most of us really agree that, that people are able to be dominated actually by the spectacle, and that you don't have to be that totalitarian. You can just, have a loud media spectacle that'll focus everybody's attention, and you can do, pretty much whatever you really want to do.
Situationists wanted to revolutionize both art and politics by uniting them into a single practice. And that in many ways the slogan of the Situationists is to unify things, whether it's several different sort of artistic forms.
Détournement was about disrupting popular culture. Of course we did this in our work. I mean, the Situationists obviously operated within a continuum of artistic disruption, and you trace them back obviously to the Dadaists and Marcel Duchamp, for example. The idea that you advance culture by doing something done for a gag is great. I mean, I think we all like to laugh, but if it hasn't got any of the context attached to it, it's not very interesting.
The Institute for Infinitely Small Things includes artists, anthropologists, software engineers, historians, and architects. They're unique in their serious investigation of language and public space.
We actually research infinitely small things, but infinitely small things in a very particular way. So it's not nanotechnology, it's not quantum physics, it's not infinitely small things at the physical or chemical level, but it is infinitely small things in social and political space. Almost all of our projects engage with language in some way, but in a very sort of social, language in the social sphere and language in the political sphere, and how one goes about making language concrete and embodied, and not something separate, not something abstract, but something that is very much present here and now. I'm not sure that there's any kind of pure status that language could ever have either. I mean, it's all in a sense, it's always political, and so it's always can be wielded as a tool or a weapon in some way or another, and whether you determine that that's for good or evil is a kind of a moral decision. The Corporate Commands Project involves both this collecting of the corporate commands. So we go out and we walk around in our neighborhood, and we also encourage other people to walk around in their neighborhoods and collect corporate commands.
One of the most direct ones and one of the first ones that we performed was rollover at the Singular Wireless store.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's performance of the Corporate Command Rollover. It's a project that's being conducted by the Institute for